Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. The author of an ad against the change of government corrects an inaccurate statement, and the city tells mobile homeowners that reports the city is clamping down on them are not accurate. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down. Up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Hi, my name is Rick Hoover. I'm running for County Commissioner. I have 4 small children in the education system in Grand County, so education is extremely important to me. I think that it's necessary that we lobby the legislature to emphasize their own mandate, which is equal opportunity per student, not equal payment. I'd appreciate your vote November 3rd.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza. Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
You may have seen an ad in the Times Independent from county officials against the change of government plan. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
It's the final week before the election, and the local newspapers are filled with political advertisements. Along with touting individual candidates and political parties, a number of the ads are seeking to convince people to vote for or against the change of government initiative. And one of those ads, run in both the Times Independent and the Advertiser, is an open letter to residents from 6 county officials. They are Recorder Lily Mae Newlander, Treasurer Grace Easton, Assessor Dorothy Goff, Sheriff Jim Nyland, County Attorney Lyle Anderson, and Surveyor Tim Keogh. The letter comes out against the change. 4 of those officials, both Democrats and Republicans, told Channel 6 why they personally oppose the measure.
I always felt like the way the government was before, there was no problem with it. I mean, with having 3 people in, if you didn't really like somebody, 3 county commissioners, if you didn't want them, I felt like if you didn't want them in, vote them out. I haven't always got along with commissioners. And I like the way the federal government, the state government has us. If we do something wrong, I feel like we should be out. But I feel like if you just, I don't like the idea of like having somebody be able to recall you just because of 15% of the vote.
Because I feel like the system that we've got now is better than what it would be if we got 7 people. I don't think you're going to get any better representation with 7 than you would with 3.
I don't think changing from a 3-man form of county government to 7-person form of county government is the answer to what people are wanting to do. A lot of times I don't agree with some of the decisions that are made in county government or city government, and I'm sure that there's a lot of times that people don't agree with some of the decisions I make. But knowing the financial situation of the county, I can't become convinced that it won't cost more money in the long run.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit more study made on it before a proposal was made. I cannot believe that it will save the county money.
But the political advertisement is notable for another reason, and that is a factual error that could be very misleading to local residents who read it. In their letter, the officials write that the plan, quote, radically alters the method of our election to and retention of county offices. The plan forbids any official party participation in elections, unquote. The letter then goes on to say, quote, of more concern, it subjects each county officer to a recall election whenever the officer makes a decision that 15% of voters don't like, unquote. But the change of government initiative does not call for recall of each county officer. It allows for the recall only of the new county council members, the 7-member body that would replace the current county commission if the initiative is passed. And that wasn't understood by most of the county officials. Recall provision only affects the county council members. Where did you get the impression that it
From what we
affected all?
read in it, we read it, and it sounded to me like it says that in it. That everyone could be recalled.
No, it's only county council members.
Did you ever try to get your budget passed by 3 people? Try to get passed by 7.
If
But
it's
the
on our,
argument in the letter was that this is bad because it applies to county officers, but it
Oh.
only applies to the county council members, not any others.
Oh.
Were you aware of that?
not particularly.
Did someone explain? Who wrote the letter?
I'm not really sure. I think maybe the attorney.
Well, this is something that I'm not real sure, this is something that really wasn't clear in all of the, in the form of government.
Did you read the actual proposal?
Yes, I looked at it, but I could have missed, something, but I thought it was quite vague.
No, it's very specific. It applies only to county council members.
County council members, and it's spelled out that way? Well, I did not then pick that up.
And that could be misleading, which the author of the letter wants to correct.
Ken, I need to take the full blame for that because I'm the one that wrote the final draft of that letter. And I believed when I wrote it that the recall provision was applicable to everyone who would be a county official. I've since gone back at your suggestion and read it, and I have to agree with you that the recall provision only applies to council members. I don't know why that is, but it's pretty clear from reading it that that's the way it is. I think what happened is because the provision of leaving parties out of the elections was something that applied to all county officers, I came to link the two in my mind as both being applicable to all county officers. But the truth is that the recall provision is only applicable to council members, the way the plan is written.
There's been a lot of heat generated this final week of the campaign, especially around the change of government. Supporters of the initiative say county officials have begun a scare campaign in order to protect their positions. Opponents of the change say it's an effort by out-of-towners and new residents to change the form of government so they can take over. But the actual text of the change is printed in the most recent issue of the Times-Independent, and here at Channel 6 we recommend that each voter read and understand what the actual plan is and not take other people's interpretation. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
It's the spookiest place in town. Actually, it's Spook Alley, a special Halloween extravaganza brought to you by the Moab Valley Fire Department. The 3-day event runs Thursday through Saturday, and it's a family-oriented outdoor guided walk through the haunted woods.
Actually, we've been told, and even down here in the evening sometime working on this, that this lane is truly haunted, something about the Hatchet Lady, and there's some scary stories about this lane other than what we're doing. So it's really hard to tell what you might see down here, so kind of beware of the things that happen. Stay with your tour guide.
This is the first year the fire department has taken over the event, which is modeled after the acclaimed Spook Alleys put together in the past by the Ballard family. Spook Alley is open through Saturday evening from 7 until 9:30 p.m. at Mulberry Lane and 4th East, south of Dave's Corner Market. The cost is $2 per person, and the money goes to help the fire department.
Proceeds we're targeting are for auto extrication equipment for the rescue truck that the fire department will be putting online sometime after the first of the year.
And kids wearing costumes will receive some treats. An advertisement saying the city is cracking down on mobile homes is not true, says the Moab Code Enforcement Officer. We'll have that story, plus a look at the filming of the Slaughter of the Innocents in Castle Valley, and the latest edition of the Outdoor Show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
Sam Cunningham on county government.
I know things, I know processes, I know things that will take people, new people, months to learn. They don't know who to go to, they don't know who they don't need to go to, they don't know where to get information. Maybe somebody will be faster at it than I am, but in any case, you've lost 6 months, you've lost a year, and right now is a critical time for Grant County. You decide where you want to go, and I will lead you there.
A lot of people come to Subway for big food. They're in for a shock when they see our new 79-cent round sandwiches, not just because of their shape, but because it's pretty amazing to think you can get a delicious sandwich on fresh baked bread for only 79 cents. They're perfect for people who don't want to pay a lot to eat with one hand. 79 cents, not since you were a little kid has your lunch money jingled.
For more information on the new 79-cent sandwiches, bring your appetite to the Subway near you.
What does a county attorney do? Prosecutes misdemeanors and felonies, defends actions brought against the county, and provides advice to county authorities. Bill Benge has been prosecuting for 12 years as county attorney and 6 years as city attorney, has had civil and criminal defense experience over a 20-year period, and has provided legal advice for 18 years to both Grand County and Moab City.
At this time in Grand County's history, we need a locally elected, experienced county attorney. I am that candidate.
Mobile homeowners have gotten concerned with an advertisement that appeared in this week's Advertiser newspaper, but city officials say don't worry. The ad said that owners of some mobile homes must, within the next few months, make some repairs and improvements, such as tying down the mobile homes to comply with city law. The ad is for a construction company which will come in and do the work for a price. According to city officials, some mobile home owners have already hired the company. Others, particularly some senior citizens, have called the city extremely worried that they can't afford the work and will be violating the law. But according to the city's ordinance enforcement officer, Debbie Gilger, the ad is not accurate and residents should not get upset.
Okay, there is an ad on page 23 in the Advertiser that states that people within the next 2.5 months have to have tie downs, that it is a city, state, federal law, etc., and that they will get a 5% discount on their insurance. This is not true. The trailers that have been coming in the last 6-7 months, with the setup requirements, this is a requirement that they tie them down and skirt them. All we're addressing right now for the pre-existing ones is the skirting and the cleaning up and etc., but we are not pushing an issue on tying down the pre-existing trailers.
If you have any questions about what are the real requirements for mobile homes, you can get the information by calling City Hall. Cast and crew of the film The Slaughter of the Innocents gathered near Castle Rock on Thursday. Here's Tricia Maroney with a report.
Friday is the big day in Castle Valley when Kamei Court Productions will launch the huge Smoking Ark off the talus slopes of Castle Rock. The scene to be shot is part of the dramatic climax of the film entitled Slaughter of the Innocents. The story, starring Scott Glenn and Zito, is set in Provo, Utah, where Glenn, an FBI agent, and his young son track down a crazed murderer played by Zito. The company producing the film has hired about 26 local people to be part of the film crew and between 20 and 30 locals as extras. If you're interested in seeing the Ark and watching the filming of the crash, you are welcome to attend. There will be a special area set aside for the public to view the event. At this time, the shooting is scheduled to take place sometime Friday afternoon. This is Tricia Maroney for Channel 6.
Fall had definitely arrived in Moab on Thursday as ominous clouds hung over the valley, accompanied by some periods of gusting winds and rain with temperatures just edging the 70-degree mark. And look for more fitting Halloween weather for the next few days. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for continued cloudy conditions with a good chance of showers and snow possible at high elevations. So in light of this, we officially issue a word of warning to bikers visiting the area. Watch out for heavy downpours and resultant flash floods. Up next is the Outdoor Show starring John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
If you have a family, Certified Ford has the car for you. This new 92 Ford Taurus wagon seats 9 and has all the extras for comfort and convenience, plus the extra incentives of factory and dealer discounts and rebates. In fact, all 92 cars are now at closeout prices. Certified Ford, your hometown dealer.
I'm David Adams, candidate for the Utah State Senate. I have served in the House of Representatives for 8 years. This new senatorial district is very large and includes 6 counties. Look what my Democratic opponent has said about serving this area. Carbon and Emery County first. I promise to serve the entire district. A vote for David Adams is a vote for strong leadership for rural Utah. Vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the Specialized, Klein, and Mountain Goat brands, and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear, featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
Congressman Bill Orton. I've not only submitted a balanced budget amendment with real teeth in it, but here's my bill to reform the whole budget process. This bill will bring the President and Congress together to eliminate waste, cut pork, set priorities, and make government balance its checkbook. Everybody says we've got to eliminate our budget deficit, but I'm doing something about it. It's time for everybody to work together and do it.
Autumn is here, and it's a perfect time of year to come out to the Moab Golf Course. The days are warm but not too hot, the grass is green, and the golf club is ready for you with club and cart rentals, driving range, snack bar, fully stocked pro shop, and both group and private lessons available. Come on out and find out why KUTV called it the most beautiful course in the state. Just follow the signs south on Highway 191.
And now it's time for the Outdoor Show with John Maynard.
Hi, welcome to the Outdoors Indoors. We're inside the home of Brett Johnson, Area Conservation Officer this week. And Brett, it's the wrap-up of the 1992 deer season. Just kind of a quick overview, how did things seem to go?
I think things went a little bit slower than we expected, John. I think the deer were kind of in the hunting mode before the season started because of the heavy elk pressure that we had, and hunting was a little more difficult this year than it's been in years past, and hunters had to really work hard for their animals.
Any idea of what type of success ratio this year versus last year?
Well, I think, as you know, they were predicting on some of the Wasatch Front media was predicting around 50% success. Last year we had a 37% success on the mountain, and just guessing, and this is just a guess, I'd say probably we're going to be lucky to hit 30%.
Brett, we still have the muzzleloader season to go yet. That gets underway this weekend. What seems to be the outlook for the muzzleloader season? Where should the guys be looking for their deer?
Well, I think the muzzleloader hunters are the ones that save their tag for the muzzleloader season are going to be well rewarded this year. I think there's predictions for a snowfall this weekend. We're going to have some bad weather set in, and I think they're going to want to concentrate their efforts in Slaughter Flat, Browns Hole, Black Ridge areas. The deer are already starting to move down in there without the snow, but once we get a little skiff of snow this weekend, as predicted, if it does come, it's going to be a fantastic hunt for the muzzleloader hunters.
Okay, and you'll be out there as usual, driving around looking for any violations. How did the violations go? Was the hunt fairly clean for the deer hunt this year?
I was pretty pleased with the hunt this year, John. We had loaded firearms in the vehicle were almost non-existent this year. Of course, we've put a big media campaign aimed at folks driving around without loaded guns, and that seems to be working. However, we're still having a major problem with party hunting. We made a lot of party hunting arrests, and I hate to say it, but it's probably going to take a lot of slow seasons like this, poor success, for maybe some of these hunters to realize what party hunting does to the resource. It's going to have to hit home here pretty quick. One other note I'd like to make before we sign off this week is The Grand County Food Bank, we've given them close to 750 pounds of confiscated meat this year.
Great.
And PFE's having a problem with a little bit of the funding on that. I think we gave him a few more pounds than he was prepared to handle, and he's used up most of the funding that he's had allocated this year. Jackie and I went ahead and gave a donation again, our second one this year, and we'd just like to ask those folks out in Moab, $1 or $2 here and there would really help PFE get this meat processed and out to those folks this winter. So if you got $1 or $2 to spare, please send it down to the Moab Food Bank.
Okay, and if they don't know where the Moab Food Bank is, you can take it over and I suppose drop it off at the Sheriff's Department or things like that, and they'll see that it gets to them if they tell them where it goes.
Right. Or they can drop by and see PFE himself. I believe it's 128 East, 100 North, I believe is the address, and he'd be happy to take a donation for processing, or if you have a canned good or two that you can spare, he'd appreciate that also.
Okay, great, Brett. Good idea. That's going to be it for this week. We'll be seeing you again next week in the Outdoors.
And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
A tragic crash of an Alpine Air commuter plane in Colorado claimed the lives of 2 passengers and the Alpine pilot early Saturday morning. 35-year-old pilot Kevin James was taking 2 passengers from the movie crew of The Slaughter of the Innocents, Roy Blattner and Dale Berliner, from Moab to Grand Junction. The plane, traveling in bad weather, apparently hit the rim of the Book Cliffs about 10 miles northwest of the Grand Junction Airport at around 8:30 a.m. The Mesa County Sheriff's Department then organized search parties to reach the wreckage, but cold and rain hampered that search. Finally, at about 1:30 in the afternoon, the wreckage was spotted, still smoking and scattered over several hundred yards. We'll have more details on our 6:30 p.m. Monday broadcast. Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Hi, my name's Rick Hoover. I'm running for County Commissioner. I have 4 small children in the education system in Grand County, so education is extremely important to me. I think that it's necessary that we lobby the legislature to emphasize their own mandate, which is equal opportunity per student, not equal payment. I'd appreciate your vote November 3rd.
If you have a family, Certified Ford has the car for you. This new 92 Ford Taurus wagon seats 9 and has all the extras for comfort and convenience, plus the extra incentives of factory and dealer discounts and rebates. In fact, all 92 cars are now at closeout prices. Certified Ford, your hometown dealer.
Hello, I'm Randy Day. The two-party system is the most responsive form of government for this county. We have 3 commissioners voted on by all the people. The two-party system is a responsive form of government. If we don't like what our county commission is doing, vote out the county commissioners. Don't change the form of government. In order to have a more responsive form of government, we first must have responsible citizens. Grand County has responsible citizens, so let's get behind our current system and vote no against the new form of government.
Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
In case you've been too busy to notice, McDonald's prices have changed. An original hamburger is just 59 cents, a cheeseburger just 69 cents, a sausage biscuit 79 cents. But if you're in a hurry, don't worry. Because this is not a promotion. It's McDonald's today. And from now on.
Have County Commissioners David Knutson and Manuel Torres made a deal behind the back of both the public and 3rd County Commissioner Sam Cunningham? That's what Cunningham fears may have happened. She discussed with Channel 6 the recent commission talk of building a county road through the Carol Clark Orchards near 5th West and 4th North. At the last County Commission meeting, the road was discussed as a possibility. Commission Chairman David Knutson said the road would provide emergency access to the Allen Memorial Hospital. But concerns were raised that the road would not meet emergency needs, so Knutson said they would hold up on making any decisions until emergency personnel could look at it.
Why don't we table the decision to accept this until we find out if this is an adequate width for that emergency?
The cost of building the road was estimated at about $60,000, and one of the motivations was that Carol Clark would give a discount to the hospital for the purchase of land for future expansion. According to Cunningham, the lack of clarity over how much the discount would be prompted her to begin looking at the county and hospital documents.
Well, my first clue to the problem was Manuel saying that it was a $29,000 break, and then on examination of $3,000 to $4,000 for 4.5 acres, it became closer to 20, and that led me to believe that I would like to see the document that stated the exact amount, because I figured there must be a document that stated the exact amount. And sure enough, I procured the document that stated it was $12,500 as a penalty for not completing a road with the deal between Carol Lee Clark, the hospital, and the county.
So essentially, the hospital board agreed to pay a penalty of $12,500 if Grand County doesn't build this road.
That is what it would appear to me. Perhaps I'm mistaken in my reading of this legal document, but it certainly seems pretty clear to me.
Does that indicate to you that the commissioners, at least 2 of the commissioners, have been doing things that they haven't been doing in open meetings?
Well, it led me to go further to the courthouse, and I discovered that those, in fact, deeds that would be necessary for the promissory note that was signed, and it says the initiating date was October 1st. I'm not sure when it was signed, but it was drawn to my attention that there are 2 more documents of the dedication of the land for the road to Grand County, plus the hospital actually buying this, dates of which were the 2nd and the 13th, and I'd like to refresh everybody's memory that the commission meeting was the 19th, so it certainly appeared that there were a lot of things that went on before the commission meeting. I certainly was unaware of them. I know emergency services were unaware of them, and the road is touted to help the emergency services for the hospital, and the clerk was unaware of the exact circumstances. So there were a number of us that were in ignorance of something that appeared to have already been done or largely done.
Did the other commissioners agree to push for the project? Did they make a decision before the last meeting? Cunningham says she doesn't know, but she intends to find out at the Monday commission meeting.
If this was something that was bypassing stringent rules that didn't make any sense, that helped the hospital and helped the county, and everybody came out a winner, I'd have to kind of scratch my head and say, well, I don't know. But I can't see for the life of me how anybody's going to win if the county is going to pay out of tax money $62,000 to build a road that nobody wants or needs.
Manuel Torres and David Knutson did not return phone calls to Channel 6 on Friday. The commission meeting takes place at the Civic Center beginning Monday at 9 a.m. It hasn't been the greatest weather for the Fat Tire Festival. Bikers have been in town all week long, taking part in rides during the day and social events in the evenings. There are hundreds of out-of-town bikers, from those camping out to those staying in the most expensive motels. The rain seems to have cut down on participation from Salt Lake City and other locations, but even so, local businesses say they have been helped by the event.
Have you seen any increase in your business?
Quite a bit. It's been up, well, considerable over the last 2 weeks.
Are they obviously bikers?
Yeah, you can tell just from the talk and the things they're buying, trail guides and maps and type of thing, bicycle magazines.
I think it's probably about the same as last year was.
which is a little bit of an increase.
Right, for sure.
Are the people coming in, are they obviously bikers or are they other tourists?
I think they're probably both. Probably 80% bikers, 20% others.
I have quite a few more people coming in. It's a lot of small items that they're looking for, like forgotten nuts and bolts, a hat because it's raining, or an inner tube or a tire, a few things like that this week.
Business volume is up in our place, and from peering down the street and looking at Rimcycle and bikes and cars up and down the road, it looks like business is up overall in town.
Well, it appears to have increased our business a little bit. Now, if we look at it like last Wednesday, a week ago, today's Friday, so this last Wednesday was fairly good, really good, and then a week ago past that, then it was, we were only half full, so it, this week has brought us in some business.
But some businesses say while they have had bigger crowds, people aren't spending as freely as in the past.
Oh, I just think, there's a recession. A lot of the European tourists don't even have the extra spending money that they used to, and it's election year, things are tight, and end of the season.
I think business has been as good as it was last year. Maybe the cold weather has a little bit to do with it being kind of spotty, but we're satisfied.
Some of the other downtown businesses have said they've had a lot of people in the store, but many of them just don't seem to have the money that they've had in the past. Have you noticed anything like that?
Well, I think that people are a little more selective this year. And I don't think that it's necessarily that they don't have the money, it's just maybe that they're watching a little bit closer.
And according to some businesses, even those merchants not directly involved with the tourist trade are being helped by the influx of dollars into the community.
We're not sure which dollar we get, whether it's the third one down or the ninth one down, but it does all come around.
The Fat Tire Festival is the last big tourist event of the year. There still will be hikers and bikers over the next few months, and local recreationists expect an increase in cross-country skiing in the mountains. But for the most part, the town grows a little bit quieter until the visitors come back like the swallows of Capistrano next February. The Roads District goes looking for support from the Travel Council for the Book Cliffs Highway project. And visiting mountain bikers show their skills at the Fat Tire Rodeo. We'll have those stories when the Channel 6 News continues.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
I'm David Adams, Republican candidate for the Utah State Senate. I have been in the House of Representatives for the past 8 years. I have been heavily involved in every piece of legislation affecting rural counties. Grand County will receive hundreds of thousands of dollars annually from the mineral lease monies. I have fought hard to see that Grand County get their fair share of public education monies. A vote for David Adams is a vote for leadership in rural Utah. Vote November 3rd. Thank you.
Rimcyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the specialized Klein and Mountain Goat brands and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
What does a county attorney do? Prosecutes misdemeanors and felonies, defends actions brought against the county, and provides advice to county authorities. Bill Benge has been prosecuting for 12 years as county attorney and 6 years as city attorney, has had civil and criminal defense experience over a 20-year period, and has provided legal advice for 18 years to both Grand County and Moab City.
At this time in Grand County's history, we need a locally elected, experienced county attorney.
I am that candidate.
The Road District went on the road this week as part of their effort to win support for the Book Cliffs Highway. District Administrator Jimmy Walker and Board Chairman Gene Nodine both traveled to Green River Thursday evening for a meeting of the Grand County Travel Council, where they showed the district video of the project and spoke in favor of the plan. The board hopes to join with Uintah County to begin building the highway linking Cisco to the town of Ouray. Supporters say the road would increase mineral development and tourism. Opponents say the money could be better used for other local projects. The environmental impact study of the project concluded the road would not have a significant effect on either mineral development or tourism, and recommended instead the counties pave and improve existing roads through the region. But according to Nodine, the road should go forward.
Years. It's, been talked about for 25, 30 years at least, from what the stories are of the old timers. And everybody realized that it is a project that will be very much beneficial to Grand County in the long run. What do we want for Grand County in the future years, 25, 30 years out? Say the year 2020, where do we want to be? And that's the job of you folks as a council, the road board as a board, the county commissioners, everybody that is concerned. And it won't be built overnight. It'll take, several years. At Chamber the other day, I said 6 to 8 years, and I think that's probably fairly close by the time you get through further engineering work, etc. But before we leave, hopefully that we can convince you people as a travel council to lend your support for that road, because I'm sure that many of you know what the value of that particular road would be to the travel council in opening up a new route, a new area.
Is there still a direct tie between mineral lease money and the production of roads in the various counties?
How to answer that? It depends on county commissions. If they want that money to continue into a road or transportation deal, then it will continue to go there. They have the option to put that money in other special service districts.
The statute says that 25% of mineral lease revenues is to be distributed, is to go to the Department of Transportation to be distributed by the Transportation Commission to road districts or to other single-purpose special service districts.
Yeah, one of the things
I read that as pretty clear legislative intent that it's to go to roads, and I think that's, and I don't think the county has the say myself. I think the Transportation Commission has the say about that.
But the Travel Council decided to withhold any support for the project, at least for now. The Travel Council also went into executive session to discuss matters relating to Travel Council Director Robbie Swayze, but council members refused to say anything more about it.
I'm not at liberty at this time to discuss the sensitive nature of our executive meeting because it was a personnel matter. However, I promise you that when we decide what action should be taken, if indeed we decide any action should be taken, that we will be sure and communicate that to both the press and the public.
Most Travel Council meetings are held in Moab, but since some residents and a number of tourist accommodations in Green River are in Grand County, meetings are occasionally held in that city. It was one of the big events of the Fat Tire Festival, the Bicycle Rodeo, Friday afternoon. Under cloudy skies, festival participants showed their skills on their bikes. Despite some rain during the week, those who have been here say they've enjoyed their stay in Moab and Canyon Country.
Weather's a little, sketchy at this point, but it's a good time.
It's okay. The weather's not too bad as long as it doesn't rain on you. You can always bike ride, so.
How's it been going for you so far?
Just excellent. We've had a great time. We've had some excellent rides, and beside the weather being a little bit kind of shaky, it's been great.
The festival concludes this weekend. On Saturday morning, it's the Hells Pedal Through Town, and Saturday evening, it's the not-to-be-missed Halloween costume party. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues. Brighten up your wardrobe this season with a special look from On the Edge. Striking sweaters for her and comfortable flannel shirts in light and heavy weights. Top them off with a wide variety of leather and denim coats. Look sharp this fall with activewear from On the Edge.
Congressman Bill Ord. I've not only submitted a balanced budget amendment with real teeth in it, but here's my bill to reform the whole budget process. This bill will bring the President and Congress together to eliminate waste, cut pork, set priorities, and make government balance its checkbook. Everybody says we've got to eliminate our budget deficit, but I'm doing something about it. It's time for everybody to work together and do it.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Sam Cunningham on county government.
Get involved. This is the fate of your county right here at this election, and you're the one that's pulling the lever. So I ask you, please, think, talk, question, and then vote intelligently. You decide where you want to go, and I will lead you there.
Grand County citizens have joined together in calling for a change in county government. Our opponents have a personal interest in misrepresenting our plan. We want you to know the facts. Fact, Utah Code was followed in preparing the plan. Fact, the new plan does not affect party support. However, the ballot will show only candidates' names. Fact, the plan can be amended as needed. The 6-year period applies only to plan structure. Please remember the facts. Join with your friends and neighbors and vote for the change in county government.
It was a dreary day on Friday here in the valley with dark clouds dropping scattered rain. Temperatures stayed in the mid-60s. We're sorry to report that the gloomy conditions will be with us through the weekend and into Monday and Tuesday. So if you're planning to go trick-or-treating or riding into the canyons, bundle up and be prepared for some rain. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for continued cloudy and partly cloudy skies, temperatures remaining in the mid-60s, and overnight lows down around 35. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Tricia Maroney reporting.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. The federal government continues the investigation into the fatal crash of an Alpine Air commuter plane flight Saturday from Moab to Grand Junction. And supporters and opponents of the local Change of Government initiative have their last opportunity to win over votes. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
Congressman Bill Ord, I've not only submitted a balanced budget amendment with real teeth in it, but here's my bill to reform the whole budget process. This bill will bring the President and Congress together to eliminate waste, cut pork, set priorities, and make government balance its checkbook. Everybody says we've got to eliminate our budget deficit, but I'm doing something about it. It's time for everybody to work together and do it.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Sam Cunningham on county government.
As a responsible citizen, you can do the footwork, you can make the calls, you can find out for yourself what we stand for, if we've served our county well to this point, and what our philosophies are. You decide where you want to go, and I will lead you there.
What does a county attorney do? Prosecutes misdemeanors and felonies, defends actions brought against the county, and provides advice to county authorities. Bill Benge has been prosecuting for 12 years as county attorney and 6 years as city attorney, has had civil and criminal defense experience over a 20-year period, and has provided legal advice for 18 years to both Grand County and Moab City.
At this time in Grand County's history, we need a locally elected, experienced county attorney. I am that candidate.
Investigators say they are still looking into why an Alpine airline commuter flight from Moab to Grand Junction crashed into the Book Cliffs on Saturday morning. The pilot, Kevin James, and 2 passengers were killed in the crash, which took place in bad weather. The plane apparently slammed into the Book Cliffs about 10 miles northwest of Grand Junction.
Been speaking with the pilot of this aircraft when they lost him off of the radar scope and assumed that he had crashed.
The other 2 victims were Roy Blattner and Dale Berliner, both from the Los Angeles area. They were in Moab for the production of the motion picture film The Slaughter of the Innocents, being filmed in Castle Valley and scheduled to wrap up this week. Berliner was the unit publicist for the film, and Blattner worked for MCA Universal Home Video. Alpine has been operating flights between Salt Lake City and Moab, as well as 10 other routes throughout Utah and Colorado. They began this year daily service between Moab and Grand Junction. According to the Mesa County Sheriff's Department, the plane had been in contact with the airport tower and was reportedly having navigation problems. Bad weather conditions and harsh terrain slowed the Sheriff's Department search on Saturday, but crews were flown in by helicopter and recovered the bodies. Alpine Air spokespeople said James had been a pilot for the company for 6 years. They described him as a very professional, capable pilot. Investigators from the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board are currently looking into the accident. Tuesday is Election Day in Moab, and one of the biggest questions facing voters here will be the change of government initiative. And both sides had a last chance Monday to convince voters.
Better representation was our issue, and it was time for a change. Things that worked 100 years ago didn't seem to be working now. The needs are different in the community. And it seemed like democracy is basically a very good thing. We've learned a lot in 100 years, and it was time to sort of install some of that and put it into practice.
I just don't think it's been thought out well enough. I don't think that having the option of having an appointed administrator where we don't know what his salary is going to be is wise. I don't think that they've thought out enough the expenditures on it.
It should be one of the biggest turnouts in years here in Grand County. According to the county clerk's office, there are hundreds of newly registered voters this year, and hundreds of people have already voted absentee. The ballot is a long and complicated one with a range of offices up for votes, ranging from president to county commission. There are also ballot propositions, including statewide referendums and 2 local ones. And County Clerk Fran Townsend recommends that voters familiarize themselves with the ballot before they enter the voting booth.
Well, the ballot is long, and it does take quite a while to vote the ballot because there are so many issues and so many offices that are on the ballot for election this year. We find that people that come into the office to vote absentee takes them, I would say, probably a minimum of 3 minutes to cast a ballot, and sometimes longer. I would really encourage people to study the ballot if they have the opportunity. It has been posted in the paper. We do have sample ballots available here in the office. People can come, and encourage people to go to the polls early so that they won't have to stand in line for such a long time, and also so that you don't have a backlog when the polls close at 8 o'clock on election day.
Polls open early Tuesday morning, and if you are one of the new voters and aren't sure where to cast your ballot, the clerk's office can help.
Polls open again at 7 o'clock in the morning and close at 8 p.m. in the evening. They're open all day long for those hours.
And people who are registered to vote can just show up?
Yes. People who are registered to vote can report to that district where they're registered. If you're not sure where you go to register, again, please feel free to call the county clerk's office. If you should go to a district and you think that's where you live and it isn't, they can perhaps tell them what district they are registered in, or they will call the county clerk's office, and we'll do all that we can to make sure everybody has an opportunity to vote.
But if people are not sure, the best thing for them to do is check in advance.
You bet, you bet. You can give us a call here. But we will be here. I will be in the office at 6:30 on Tuesday morning, and we'll be here till we're through. So we'll be available to help people to find where they need to go to vote.
Now, the majority of people will be voting in their normal voting places, but the courthouse is still under renovation. Where will people who normally vote in the courthouse lobby be voting this year?
People will be voting in Star Hall, and that will be open, and that will be available for people to vote. So instead of going to the courthouse, just go next door to the Star Hall, and that's where you'll be casting your vote for District 1 this year.
And Channel 6 will be on the air Tuesday evening beginning around 8:30 with a series of special reports from the county offices with the most up-to-date results from the local voting. Many people are saying the seemingly endless election campaign with the hundreds of polls and thousands of negative commercials is driving them to drink. If that's the case, be reminded that the liquor store is closed on Election Day. And also note that the store, open until 9 p.m. through last week, has now gone on its winter hours, according to liquor store clerk Natalie Dickerson.
We have 6 months of summer hours, which are from May 1st through October 31st, which are 11 o'clock to 9 o'clock. That is the summer season. Then the winter season starts on Monday, November the 1st, then from 11 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. Then next May, we'll go back to the summer tourist hour season then.
This is the last year for the liquor store. The state has purchased another site where they plan to construct a new and much larger store in 1993.
Yes, we're going to be moving to Main Street to a new location over next to the old City Market building. There is a vacant lot between City Market and Spencer's. We'll have a brand new store. It'll be about 3 times the size of our present store. We'll have a loading dock. We'll have much more stock, much more room. It'll be much easier for customers to find what they're looking for.
The county commission says no final deal has been made on the proposed road through the Clark Orchards. We'll have that story when Channel 6 News continues.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
My name's Rick Hoover. I'm running for County Commissioner. Grand County in the past has suffered from boom or bust economies. I feel that it's time that we address this issue through proper planning and zoning to attain sustained moderate growth. I'd appreciate your vote November 3rd.
Best Value Foods, where shopping is a breeze.
Grand County citizens have joined together in calling for a change in county government. Our opponents have a personal interest in misrepresenting our plan. We want you to know the facts. Fact, Utah Code was followed in preparing the plan. Fact, the new plan does not affect party support. However, the ballot will show only candidates' names. Fact, the plan can be amended as needed. The 6-year period applies only to plan structure. Please remember the facts. Join with your friends and neighbors and vote for the change in county government.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
County commissioners say they have not yet made a decision on whether or not to go ahead with building a county road through the Carol Clark Orchard property near Allen Memorial Hospital. That was the decision Monday morning, as Commissioners Manuel Torres and David Knutson said they would listen to recommendations from an emergency management committee, but would ultimately make the decision based on their own views. The road project became an issue following the last commission meeting, where commissioners said they wanted the road for additional access to the hospital, in case, for some reason, the corner of 5th West and 4th North was unusable. Since the hospital was looking at buying land from Carol Clark, and Clark was hoping to develop other parts of the land for subdivisions, the commissioners hoped to make a deal. They would build the road through the property, providing both hospital access and improvements for Clark's land, and Clark would cut the cost of the land price to the hospital.
Carol Lee Clark probably could have got, I know he could have got more money than what he sold it to the hospital's special service district for. He gave us a reduced price if we would put this infrastructure within his property. And so for both sides, it was a good deal. We do that all the time.
In return, we get an alternate route, and that's what we're kind of concerned about. Ever since that fire at the Doxol plant, where the intersection right there was plugged up, the only real way into the hospital, if that's plugged, is through Holiday Haven with the speed bumps and as it winds around through there. And we looked at some other places and have endeavored in the past several years, over the past 4 years, to try to get some different routes in and have been unsuccessful in doing that for a variety of reasons.
But Sam Cunningham said at least some emergency officials weren't sure the road would be better than the existing alternate access through Holiday Haven.
So under those circumstances, I just think it needs to be put into the minutes that if that was the impetus, then it's up to the emergency management people, and if they feel that it's not suitable.
I disagree with that, Sam. I mean, what you're saying is that if the emergency management people come out and say that really isn't what we wanted, it's okay, but that isn't really what we wanted.
No, I'm saying if they're saying it's not okay, if it's not okay. Because apparently what they have said, not in meeting, but what they have said separately, is that that road is not okay. It's not any better than anything we've got.
Meaning they don't like it, it's illegal, it doesn't meet code?
It doesn't meet code.
But while the commission says they will listen to the emergency officials, Jimmy Walker contended the final decision belongs to the commission itself.
Else the county's doing something, they have the right to come and get information on what's going on. That's the issue. That's the issue.
Well, Jimmy, if you say that the reason that you're expending $50,000 of county money is because of an emergency access, then they damn well better be consulted.
Commissioners said they would once again discuss the question at their first meeting in December. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
When you are making a list of the greatest achievements of this century, please consider Subway's 79-cent round sandwiches. We have taken the great taste of Subway, including our fresh-baked bread, and made it round. So it's highly portable and highly affordable with a low, low, low price of 79 cents. While this great achievement may not change your life as much as the Clapper, our round sandwiches certainly do taste better, and you can get one for only 79 cents.
Introducing the round sandwiches for as low as 79 cents only at Subway.
Hello, I'm Randy Day. The two-party system is the most responsive form of government for this county. We have 3 commissioners voted on by all the people. The two-party system is a responsive form of government. If we don't like what our county commission is doing, vote out the county commissioners. Don't change the form of government. In order to have a more responsive form of government, we first must have responsible citizens. Grant County has responsible citizens, so let's get behind our current system and vote no against the new form of government.
Autumn is here, and it's a perfect time of year to come out to the Moab Golf Course. The days are warm but not too hot, the grass is green, and the golf club is ready for you with club and cart rentals, driving range, snack bar, fully stocked pro shop, and both group and private lessons available. Come on out and find out why KUTV called it the most beautiful course in the state. Just follow the signs south on Highway 191.
I'm David Adams, candidate for the Utah State Senate. I have served in the House of Representatives for 8 years. This new senatorial district is very large and includes 6 counties. Look what my Democratic opponent has said about serving this area. Carbon and Emery County first. I promise to serve the entire district. A vote for David Adams is a vote for strong leadership for rural Utah. Vote November 3rd. Thank you.
As soon as fall appeared, winter seemed to show its colors. Rain soaked the valley on Monday morning and dropped more snow on the mountains down to the 7,000-foot elevation. The sun peeked out for a short time by afternoon with temperatures hovering in the upper 50s. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for cloudy to partly cloudy conditions with thermometer readings dropping to the upper 40s or low 50s. Rain is possible, but chances should decrease as the week goes on. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. After months of campaigning, it's time for the voters to decide. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
A lot of people come to Subway for big food. They're in for a shock when they see our new 79-cent round sandwiches. Not just because of their shape, but because it's pretty amazing to think you can get a delicious sandwich on fresh baked bread for only 79 cents. They're perfect for people who don't want to pay a lot to eat with one hand. 79 cents. Not since you were a little kid has your lunch money jingled.
For more information on the new 79-cent sandwiches, bring your appetite to the Subway near you.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
After all the months of debates and discussions, boastful promises and negative commercials, the election is here and the people have a chance to decide. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
Grand County voters have decided to change the form of government here in Moab. That was the result of the elections Tuesday, when county voters decided by about 350 votes to change from a 3-member county commission to a 7-member county council. That new council would have 5 of the people elected by district, 2 at large. They would run nonpartisan, and very importantly, voters here in Grand County would have the right to recall those elected officials. That vote makes Grand County only the second county in the state of Utah that has changed its form of government. What that means is that the election for county commission that took place means that the new county commissioner will only serve for a couple of months. And that person will be Peter Haney. He easily defeated his 2 opponents, Rick Hoover and Sam Cunningham. Haney received 1,613 votes, Rick Hoover 1,050, Sam Cunningham 633 votes in that. Grand County voters also decided not to renew the charter of the Allen Memorial Hospital District. That vote came up with 1,754 people voting against and only 1,401 voting in favor of that. Also, 2 school district elections took place. In the first one, Eric York defeated Glenna Oliver 239 to 211. And Susan Gottschalk defeated Tom Stengel in a very, very close race, 225 votes to 222 votes. Some of the other things that people here would be interested in knowing is that Grand County residents decided that they would like the opportunity to vote on parimutuel betting. They passed that by about 700 votes. Here in Grand County, they also decided David Adams is better in the state Senate than Mike Dimitrich. David Adams won by about 250 votes. And also in the state representative, it was Lyle Anderson losing to Dan Nakai, though Lyle Anderson will be the state representative. And on our 6:30 p.m. newscast on Wednesday, we will be giving you complete results of this election, how county voters made their decisions, and what the effect those decisions will have in the future. So be sure to tune in Wednesday evening at 6:30. Representative. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Lake Powell is showing the wear and tear of being a recreation haven for the past 2 decades. The lake was formed with the construction of the Glen Canyon Dam, and the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area celebrated its 20th birthday last week. And over that time, the popularity of the lake has grown to the point that there are an estimated 1.5 million overnight visitors per year. Now, the crush of tourists and a dropping lake level has led to a pollution crisis, and the Salt Lake Tribune now reports that the Park Service closed 8 beaches this year because of human waste contamination. And the bacteria from human waste may pose an even greater problem next tourist season. The Park Service is looking at alternatives, including public restroom facilities and requiring all boats to have portable toilets, but those solutions are expensive. Right now, the Park Service is conducting a detailed water quality study, and most likely any decisions will be put off until that inquiry is completed. And that means the lake could have even more beaches shut next year. Services will be held Friday, November 6th, for Moab resident Irene Heidi, who died Monday at her home in Spanish Valley. She was 93 years of age. Irene moved to Moab in 1987. She is survived by sons Richard Ferguson of California, Jerry Davis of Colorado, and Jim Davis of Alaska, as well as daughters Dorothy Carpenter of California and Moab residents Isla Johnson, Joyce Mangum, and Jody Conklin. She is also survived by 2 sisters, 15 grandchildren, 26 great-grandchildren, and 10 great-great-grandchildren. Services will take place Friday morning at 11 a.m. at the Dish Funeral Home, and a viewing will be held at the funeral home beginning at 10 a.m. Interment will follow at Sunset Memorial Cemetery. Organizers say the Fat Tire Festival was one of the best ever, despite the turn in the weather. We'll have that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
If you're looking for a good gas furnace, then look to Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration for the answer. Quality trained furnaces will give you years of dependable service at an affordable price. A trained furnace will pay for itself with better heating efficiency. Nelson's also the place for Maytag and Whirlpool appliances. Come in today and talk to the experts at Nelson's Heating and Refrigeration, 1070 Bowling Alley Lane.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the specialized Klein and Mountain Goat brands and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
It was rough weather over the weekend for the Fat Tire Festival. Cold and rain put a damper on a number of the closing events scheduled for Saturday, and much of the regular crowd that comes every year for the last weekend stayed home. But as far as organization of the event goes, it was one of the most successful festivals ever, according to Rim Cyclery's Robin Groff.
As far as the festival went, the week went very well. The club, I think, put on the festival in the smoothest manner that it's gone in any of the years. The registration was slightly down overall, 2% or something like that. I think there were less people in town during the weekend and that sort of thing, but the events and everything went very well, other than the rain on Saturday, and we had to cancel a few things, but there weren't any, big complaints or anything like that. So,
early in the week, pre-registration numbers led some to believe the crowd would swell by the end of the week, but then the bad weather moved in.
Well, I think most of it was because of the change in weather. It was, as you could see on the TV from about Thursday or Friday, the weather was going to be bad, and a lot of the Salt Lake people and Colorado people, most of the people that, the bulk of the people that are here for the festival come from Colorado and the Wasatch Front. There are people from all over the world, but that's where the bulk comes from, and we didn't get that surge over the weekend that we normally get.
The festival has played an important role in extending the tourist season in Moab. Mountain biking in the fall meant that many businesses stayed open well beyond the end of the family visitor season, which normally ends with the beginning of school.
If it goes like the last couple of years, we've been seeing the season stretch weather dependent all the way to Thanksgiving, which gives the businesses in town a big boost and the economy a little bit to go through the winter on, because winters around here can be rather slow. And so it comes at a very opportune time, and if we could stretch the season through Thanksgiving, it's just a benefit to the community.
But of course, despite the rain and cold, festival participants and a host of local residents wouldn't think of missing the traditional Halloween costume party held at the old Yellow Front store. As usual, the costumes were a blend of creative and outrageous. The mix of festival goers tends to be a number of mountain bike industry professionals and serious bike riders, a more mellow group than those who come early in the spring.
This year we felt like that we attracted all the industry people again. There were good riders in town. The good riders have a tendency to be less disruptive for the community because they're out there riding, and when evening comes they're going to bed because they're going to ride again. So it was less disruptive to the community this time because of those I think more industry people and more good riders that had come in.
The Fat Tire Festival is the last major tourist event of the year, but in just a few months, the Red Rock four-wheelers will begin gearing up for the Jeep Safari, and the cycle starts over again. Work is moving forward on the City of Moab's plans to secure the local landfill. The city began running the dump 4 months ago, and since then has begun looking at ways to make sure the material disposed is sorted and contaminated material kept out. The city has fenced off the site and will staff the dump during the day. The City Council is expected later this month to impose dumping fees on both individuals who use the facility and especially on commercial users, including federal agencies such as the Park Service and the BLM. The County Commission also discussed the landfill, in particular establishing a solid waste disposal district, and commissioners agreed recycling should be an option for the district as well. Earlier this year, residents expressed strong support for the district at a public hearing and also for integrating the Canyonlands Recycling Center into the operation. But the original draft for creating the district did not mention recycling, just the operation of the landfill itself.
The safe thing to do if you want to include recycling is to start anew with the process and include that as one of the purposes.
Can we build into the resolution the ability of the district to make that determination? In other words, I don't want to tie them with it, but I don't want to exclude it either. In other words, if the landfill district sits down and says, hey, you know, recycling should be an integral part of this, I want them to have that option. But I don't want to say they have to do it, because they might sit down and say, after all of the study that they've done, recycling, although politically correct, might not be feasible for this area. And I don't want to tie them to that. Can we word that in such a way that...
In the end, commissioners decided to talk to Moab City and find out if council members believe a new resolution and a new public hearing should be held. Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when the Channel 6 News continues.
If it's housewares, fabrics, or school supplies you need, think Sprouse. If it's bed and bath items or health and beauty aids you're looking for, think Sprouse. For greeting cards, footwear, or toys, think Sprouse. For more values more often, think Sprouse.
You can't find a better sale on books. Right now, books for adults just $3, and children's books for all ages just $1.50. Stock up now, Sprouse.
For the best RV camp park in Moab, it's Holiday Haven, with oversized spaces to accommodate the largest RV and cool, comfortable tent sites under mature shade trees, all with a convenient central location. Holiday Haven is also Moab's finest mobile home park that offers country living in the city, an established park with pool, playground, laundry facilities, and a retired section. For comfortable RV or mobile home living, it's Holiday Haven, 400 North, 5th West.
Brisk, windy weather met voters on their way to the polls on Tuesday, with high temperatures reaching up to just above the 50-degree mark. And expect more cool days and a chance of some rain over the rest of the week. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies through Wednesday. Afternoon thermometer readings will most likely stay in the low 50s, with evenings down below the freezing mark. By Thursday and Friday, the rain could come back with scattered rain showers and a dusting of snow at higher elevations. Look for highs to stay in the 50s and overnight mercury readings down to the 20s. And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Local voters choose a new form of government, and the chairman of the county commission resigns from office as a result. We'll have those stories when Channel 6 News continues.
Best Value Foods. Stress-free shopping where the service is unbelievable.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
It was a night of change as election results show Americans choosing a new president and Grand County residents choosing a new form of county government. And it was a morning of surprise as the chairman of the county commission decided Wednesday to resign from office. Here's Ken Davey with a report.
Grand County voters joined with the rest of America in voting for a new president. In recent presidential elections, voters here were strongly Republican. But this year, the voters gave a plurality of support to President-elect Bill Clinton. Clinton received 1,158 votes here, compared to 1,096 for President George Bush and 987 votes for Ross Perot. In statewide offices, Utah chose Republicans, but here, voters were split. Bob Bennett won election to the Senate and carried Grand County by 386 votes over Democratic challenger Wayne Owens. And Mike Leavitt, an easy winner for governor statewide, just beat out Democrat challenger Stuart Hansen in Grand County by 45 votes, with independent Merrill Cook about 100 votes back. But in the congressional race, Democrat Bill Orton was returned to office, taking 71% of Grand County votes against Richard Harrington. Moab resident Nate Knight, a former member of the Grand County School Board, fell short in his race for a spot on the State School Board of Education, losing to Lynn Haslam of Duchesne. But Knight did dominate the voting here, winning in Grand County by an almost 3-to-1 margin. In what is considered a protest vote against both national health care concerns and the local operation of Allen Memorial Hospital, county residents strongly voted down a proposal to extend the taxing power of the hospital district for an additional 10 years. Responsibility for the hospital now reverts to the county itself. And voters chose Democrat Peter Haney for the opening on the current county commission. Haney received 1,613 votes, well ahead of the 1,050 votes for Republican Rick Hoover and the 633 votes for incumbent Sam Cunningham. But possibly the most important vote on the local scene was the support given to the controversial change of government proposal. The measure passed by a 55 to 45% margin, or a total of 340 votes. The plan was placed on the ballot last spring after a number of unpopular decisions by the current county commission, especially the hiring of Robbie Swayze as director of the Travel Council over the unanimous opposition of the Travel Council Board. The new plan abolishes the current commission as of 3 months from now, when a new election takes place to seat a 7-member council, 5 of whom will come from districts and 2 from the county at large. The group spearheading the initiative was the Citizens for a Responsible Government, whose coordinator was Norm Shrewsbury. He told Channel 6 why he thought voters here were strong in supporting the measure.
My impression is what we've been saying all along. They wanted better representation and they wanted a change. And, you know, often there's private agendas and there may be other individual reasons. I mean, I can't speak to that. But I think basically what the platform we ran on is the platform that passed.
The plan directs the county clerk to schedule a special election for the new seats in the first 2 weeks of next February and schedule a primary election in January if enough candidates sign up. Shrewsbury said it's time for those with concerns about the future of the county to get to work.
Well, it's an exciting time, I think. I mean, there's a lot of reason for enthusiasm. It's also the beginning of some work. The democratic process allows for public representation, and now we have to really put our money where our mouth is. We now have the ability or a license to allow change to happen, but we need to get interested candidates to run for the council positions. What our organization is going to try and do is help in the transition to get more information out about what they have to do now. Roughly, there's 35 days from today that people that want to run have to file. After that, there'll be a primary in like January 6th or 7th, and the election's February 7th. So hopefully people have been thinking about it and are ready to go.
The new form of government also calls for nonpartisan elections with petition requirements for all candidates. It's a new procedure, but Shrewsbury says it should prove to be no stumbling block.
It's 25 signatures for district, 50 for at-large. What we'd like to try and do to make it smoother also is to have a meeting where people are interested can come and find out who else in their district's interested in running and maybe decide, hey, there's 4 of us, or no one's running at large, or nobody's running in our district. You know, we need to find that out. So I think there's going to be work to do. I mean, definitely there's going to be work to do, but I think most good projects require that, and we're ready to do the work.
Shrewsbury says the change here is being looked at in other Utah locations as well.
Yes, I got a call yesterday morning, the day of the election, from Carbon County and said, we're ready, same thing, same issues. I mean, and that's what makes me feel so strong about this. This isn't about any individual that's presently in or in the past. The system needed to be changed. If statewide we're seeing the same issue, we've got 3 councilmen, 3 commissioners that aren't listening to us, we need to make a change, because I don't think these people are inherently bad, and I don't think anybody that runs. It's a hard job. I think the system was the issue, and hopefully by changing the system, these issues will be resolved also.
But while Shrewsbury says there's nothing personal against the current county commissioners, that's not a widely shared view. Most political observers say concern about county decisions recently motivated the strong voter support for the proposal. And one of those people was County Commissioner David Knudsen. Knudsen was elected to the commission in 1986 and was re-elected by a huge margin 2 years ago. As the chairman, he's been the most outspoken commission member, and now with the vote showing a majority of county residents wanting a change, Knudsen decided Wednesday morning to resign from the commission, effective immediately. In a letter to County Clerk Fran Townsend, Knudsen wrote, quote, "The results of the election make it clear to me that the direction the county wishes to take is significantly different than the direction I am willing to lead." He goes on to say, "It is appropriate at this time for me to step aside and allow the new form of government, which became effective immediately upon approval by a majority of the voters, to begin its work." And in a moment, we'll have a special interview with former County Commissioner David Knudsen, who explains how he views the vote and a full explanation of the reasons behind his decision to leave office when the Channel 6 News continues.
For all your insurance needs in Moab, it's Central Utah Insurance. Home, auto, business, and life. You can depend on the fast, friendly service at Central Utah Insurance, 471 South Main.
Arches Vineyards right here in Moab is providing yet more proof that Moab is completely unique to Utah and the world. The Arches Vineyard is Utah's only commercial winery. Grapes grown and fine wine produced just 3 miles south of Center and Main in Moab. Come by the tasting room from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for a taste and a tour of the award-winning Riesling or the rich and aromatic Merlot. 2182 South Highway 191, Arches Vineyards. Call 259-5397. Enjoy a toast to the grapes of Moab Valley and Arches Vineyards.
Brighten up your wardrobe this season with a special look from On the Edge. Striking sweaters for her and comfortable flannel shirts in light and heavy weights. Top them off with a wide variety of leather and denim coats. Look sharp this fall with activewear from On the Edge.
Why did David Knudsen resign his county commission seat? What does he think will happen with the new form of county government? Knudsen voiced his views in a special interview with Channel 6 on Wednesday morning.
Well, after the results of the election last night, it became clear to me that the direction the county wants to go in is significantly different than the direction that I'm willing to lead. And so I tendered my resignation today, takes effect immediately, and have given the clerk's office a copy of that.
So as far as you're concerned, you're no longer a county commissioner?
I'm no longer a county commissioner.
Has this been a tough decision for you?
No, it hasn't been a tough decision. It's been a sad decision. I've always been willing to get in there and serve as long as I felt like I was doing what the majority of the community wanted. And now that the majority of the community wants something different, it's very easy for me to say I will step aside. I believe in the democratic process. It's sad because I really don't think the community is going in the right direction. And it's sad because I love these people down here at the courthouse, and I'll miss them.
I know as you were walking around talking to them and explaining your decision to them, a number sort of indicated they'd like you to stay around for a while and help over the next few months. Can you explain why you're not doing that?
Well, because I don't think I have an obligation to do that. I think that the sacrifices that I myself and my family have been required to make as part of being a commissioner are only tolerable when you feel like you're actually serving the majority of the people. And when you realize that the majority of the people don't want you, or don't agree with the direction you're going, or feel you need to, there needs to be a change taking place, then those sacrifices simply become intolerable. And I was willing to stick it out for 2 more years, because I said I would do that. This new form of government has been something I've been opposed to from the very beginning. I didn't want to have happen, and I don't feel like I have any responsibility to the people to stay on. And in fact, I think it would be detrimental to the community for me to stay on. I think I would still have to run a budget like I thought it should be run, and my views do not agree with the majority of the community at this point.
You, along with virtually every other elected county official, came out against this plan, yet it won 55 to 45. Why do you think it won?
Change. I think, as I wrote in my resignation paper, I think change has been the catchword, and I think people get caught up in the change. I don't think I'm not sure any of us know what the change will be, but it definitely is a change, and sometimes things take on a life of their own. Also, as you know, the county commission has been extremely controversial. We're quite the bullheaded lot in there. I'm very opinionated, and I think people just got their hackles up about how opinionated that I am.
Do you think this would have been different if, in fact, you had toned down some of the things that you did and said over the past year?
No, I don't think so. Ultimately, I think it would have come to the same result. Within the next 2 years, if I would have remained, it would have still happened. Now, if I had never become a county commissioner and somebody else would have been in there that was less willing to stand up and say what they thought on camera, then yeah, maybe.
Do you take this as a personal slap at you?
No. I look at it as simply people saying things are changing, and things need to be looked at in a different light and perhaps a different direction that I'm unwilling to look at, and I'm the first one to agree with that. I'm not, unlike Commissioner Cunningham, I'm not willing to lead you where you want to go. I will lead you where I think's best, and if you want to follow, fine, and if you don't want to follow, then don't, and I will step aside.
So where does that leave Grand County? That's still unclear. As far as Knudsen is concerned, he's out, And as far as the new law is concerned, a county council will be elected in February. What else will happen is up in the air. But one thing is sure. County residents will be following county politics as closely over the next 3 months as they ever have before. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
Up next is the Canyon Country weather forecast when Channel 6 News continues.
B. Osborne's is the most complete bookstore in southeast Utah. Your complete bookstore for magazines, books, maps, special orders from anywhere, magazines from Europe, newspapers from major cities of the U.S. Need a special gift for that person on your list who is hard to please? Get a gift certificate from B. Osborne's and let them please themselves. B. Osborne's Books and Magazines, 50 South Main in Moab, your bookstore and more.
What's there to do in Moab tonight? You can stay in town and fight the crowds, or you can come join us for a sunset safari. We'll take you on an adventure you'll never forget.
The Sunset Safari. Experience the grandeur of the canyons in their best light, in your own vehicle, with a professional guide. On the rim, dinner awaits. Don't own a four-wheel? A rental can be arranged. So what are you waiting for? Sunset Safari.
The sun came out on Wednesday with afternoon temperatures into the 50s, but clouds began creeping into the valley as the day wore on, and there could be rain in the near future. The forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for partly cloudy skies with a chance of showers through Thursday. High temperature reading should be around 55 degrees. And if you haven't yet gotten your winter heat online, get to work because overnight lows are expected to drop into the 20s. The long-range forecast calls for partly cloudy skies through Friday and Saturday, and some rain again by the weekend. And that's news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Dee Tranter reporting. Have a good day.
Welcome to the Channel 6 News. I'm Jim Kelly reporting. Does a proposed state office building on Cane Creek Boulevard conflict with the city's recently adopted master plan? We'll be back with that story when the Channel 6 News continues.
Moab Hardware and Furniture, where televisions abound.
First Western National Bank announces a new FHA Title I opportunity on loans for manufactured homes and lots for as little as 10% down, up to $40,500 available on manufactured homes and $54,000 for home and lot. The rates and terms are negotiable and all loan decisions are made locally. So renters, here's your chance to own at First Western National Bank, your hometown bank in Moab.
When you need a gift, come to Sherry's Country Store Gifts. A country store doesn't just mean country-style goods, it means a store stocked with items to satisfy the needs of the people. Sherry's carries on that tradition by offering a wide selection of gifts for any age, presented in a warm country store atmosphere. So come on in and browse, or grab a treat and set a spell on the green benches of Sherry's Country Store Gifts in the Western Plaza.
Should the city change zoning along Cane Creek to allow the construction of a state office building? Here's Ken Davey with a report.
Moab City will hold a public hearing Thursday evening to hear what residents think of a plan to rezone part of Cane Creek Boulevard to commercial property. The land is near the city road shed and the Department of Transportation storage area. The owner of the property wants the change so that he can lease the land to the state of Utah to construct an office building. City Planning Coordinator David Olson told Channel 6 what's on the agenda.
The property owner would like to change the zone from R2 to C5 at across the street from the city shops on Cane Street.
For what purpose?
For a state office building.
And that would be the office building that would house what?
Well, all the state departments, it's a 20,000 square foot building, and they have a service yard.
But there seems to be some opposition from some nearby residents who worry about increased traffic flow and other commercial businesses that may come to the area. In addition, there is some concern that the request, which did receive support from the Planning Commission, is not in accordance with the Moab City General Plan, which was adopted just this year. In the section of the plan on residential zoning, the city wrote, quote, "Moab shall discourage commercial development in areas outside commercial zones." The plan does allow for amendments and changes, but states, quote, "The burden of proof to justify such an amendment shall be on the applicant, who must prove that the change will better promote the general welfare of the community." There is one other alternative the state is looking at, and that is land behind Miller's Shopping Center across from the Bureau of Land Management District office. And on Thursday evening, it's time for local residents to be heard. What is the purpose of the public hearing?
To get input mainly from the neighbors and other concerned citizens about the zone change.
And where and when is this hearing going to be held?
It's going to be held Thursday night, or tonight at 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Most likely, the City Council will not vote on the zone change for at least a few more weeks. This is Ken Davey for Channel 6.
The coming of winter brings the basketball season at Grand County High School. Last year wasn't that much fun for the Red Devils, who usually found themselves on the losing end of scores. But each year is a new beginning, and that's definitely the case this season, as the team starts with a host of new players and a complete new coaching staff, headed by first-timer Ray Peeney, who spoke with Channel 6 this week.
Troy Bowling is the activities director at the high school, was the coach last year. I'm the varsity coach. I have Ron Olson as a junior varsity coach, and Dave Dorman is going to be the coach for the freshman team.
And Peeney has an idea to try to whip up some enthusiasm for the new year, beginning with the first practice of the year starting at the stroke of midnight.
Oh, practice is, according to the state, their guidelines, is Monday the 9th is the first official day that anyone in the state can practice for basketball. So we're going to get an early start. Some of the major colleges around the country, some of the colleges here in the state, begin their practice at 12:01, just right after midnight, on the morning of the 9th. And that's what we're going to do.
And one thing that does in some places is it helps create some spirit and support for the team. Are you hoping that's going to happen here?
Absolutely. And I've invited the kids to invite their parents. And I talked to the Booster Club. They're going to try to get together and serve hot chocolate and donuts or something. You know, just to make it a kickoff, get acquainted type of thing.
The season hasn't started yet. The practice season hasn't started yet. So your look at the team is very, very preliminary. But as of right now, what kind of a team do you see it being?
We're not going to be a huge team. We're going to be small. I hope we can out-quick people. We're going to run and take advantage of the height that we do have.
Is it going to be an experienced team, or are you going to be relying on youngsters?
Well, we've got some returning lettermen that are going to try out. We've got a lot of new faces, so fairly inexperienced.
When does the actual game season start, and what does the schedule look like this year?
Okay, we're going to start with the Red Devil Classic, and that's December 4th and the 5th, a Friday and a Saturday night. Of course, we'll have the practice between now and then. And then there's some mandatory time off during the Christmas break, and we'll come back in January. The season will go through March up until the state tournament.
It's also a new beginning for the She-Devil women's basketball team, and we'll be speaking with that team's new coach on a future broadcast. The Recycling Center will pay you Saturday for your aluminum cans. We'll have that story plus the outdoor show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues.
Through the seasons, through the miles, through the rough country of southeastern Utah, we get you through. We're GTE. We're your telephone company.
Rim Cyclery is the hub of the action in the mountain bike capital of the world, carrying the specialized Klein and Mountain Goat brands and fully staffed with experts in mountain bike service. Rim is also your stop for camping gear and accessories and sportswear featuring Gramici shorts and tops. Bikers, here's a simple rule. If you're gearing up, see Rim. If you've broken down, see Rim. 94 West, 100 North.
A lot of people come to Subway for big food. They're in for a shock when they see our new 79-cent round sandwiches. Not just because of their shape, but because it's pretty amazing to think you can get a delicious sandwich on fresh baked bread for only 79 cents. They're perfect for people who don't want to pay a lot to eat with one hand. 79 cents, not since you were a little kid, has your lunch money jingled.
For more information on the new 79-cent sandwiches, bring your appetite to the Subway near you.
The Canyonlands Community Recycling Center will pay you this weekend for your aluminum cans. That's the word from Nicholas Brown, center coordinator, who told Channel 6 that the aim of the project is to encourage people who ordinarily don't use the recycling center to get acquainted with it.
We've got an aluminum can buyback day coming up this Saturday. We're going to be doing aluminum can buyback days the first Saturday of each month from here on out. We did one a little while ago. We've actually had two so far, and the one we did in September was quite successful. We got about half our usual monthly aluminum volume.
In the one day.
And that was just in one day. Our main goal is to attract people that normally don't come up to the center, that are just collecting cans for recycling for the economic benefit.
The center is also collecting steel cans, paper, cardboard, and a number of other materials. A major aim of the recycling center is to save space at the local landfill, saving the county money over the long term.
I think there's a real significant amount of material that can be taken out of the landfill. The city has been talking with us about taking metals out, and they're in their process of separating materials at the dump. We will probably collect some of that material, and it is a significant volume that I think can be taken out of the landfill. It's a first step, and I think recycling has tremendous possibilities right here in Grand County.
And the center can use help. The staff is asking people who drop off materials to make the transportation of the cans and bottles to industrial buyers in Grand Junction easier.
We're still receiving a lot of materials that are not being given to us in the proper form. We're trying to get steel cans completely flattened and rinsed out. That saves us in terms of the processing time that it takes us to process those steel cans. That's especially important because the price we get for steel cans is very low, and we need to condense the material to the greatest extent possible. Another thing we need people to do is separate the glass bottles and jars into the separate colors, the brown and the clear and the mixed colors. As we go along, right now we're just doing the brown separation, but we'll probably be starting the clear separation very shortly, and people should watch for the containers at the drop-offs for specific labels as to which color.
The center itself has collected more this year than projected and has already raised more than the $6,000 in local fundraising set as the 1992 goal. According to recycling activist Dory Bozung, the idea of recycling in Grand County is catching on.
Yeah, I think we're getting more and more of a response all the time. We're getting lots of people from out of town who come here, and maybe they just drop off a few items, but they definitely come and use the center. And then I think we're getting an increased number of locals using the center as well.
And for more information on the Canyonlands Community Recycling Center, you can call 259-CCRC. It was mostly clear and cool in the valley on Thursday, with temperatures edging up into the mid-50s. And look for more sunshine for the next few days. The official forecast for Moab and Canyon Country calls for mostly clear skies through Friday. Look for afternoon highs in the mid-50s and overnight lows dropping down to the freezing mark. Clouds should be back on Saturday with highs in the 50s, and then on Sunday and Monday, look for a chance of rain and some snow at higher elevations as a storm moves over the state. Up next is the Outdoor Show with John Maynard when the Channel 6 News continues. Get ready for the season with this fully equipped Go Everywhere 92 Ford Escort LX. 4-door plus hatchback, perfect for skiing, front-wheel drive for maneuverability in snow, sporty extras, and 2 discounts and a factory rebate on this super clearance sale vehicle. Certified Ford, your hometown dealer.
Autumn is here, and it's a perfect time of year to come out to the Moab Golf Course. The days are warm but not too hot, the grass is green, and the golf club is ready for you with club and cart rentals, driving range, snack bar, fully stocked pro shop, and both group and private lessons available. Come on out and find out why KUTV called it the most beautiful course in the state. Just follow the signs south on Highway 191.
And now it's time for the Outdoor Show with John Maynard.
Hi, welcome to the Outdoors. Our guest again today is Brett Johnson, local conservation officer. And Brett, the snow came just in time for the muzzleloader hunt, drove the deer down, but yet I haven't heard of a lot of muzzleloader hunters getting their deer.
Well, it's been more the pressure, John. I think there's not as many muzzleloader hunters out in the field as we kind of expected. Maybe this next weekend will be a little different with the snow being down as low as it is right now.
I've drove around the whole loop road through Castle Valley, down in the Ken's Lake area, and I only ran into 3 muzzleloader hunters. I heard there were several down in Brown's Hole Slaughter Flat, but I checked down there and didn't see any either. And the deer that I have heard of coming in have been coming in from over on the east side of the mountain, down around John Brown Canyon in that area.
Yeah, that area right now is probably inaccessible, and so I think hunters are going to want to focus on that Slaughter Flat and Brown's Hole area. I think the deer are in there. They've got to be in there now with all the snowfall that we've had in the last couple of days, and I think those would be the best places to concentrate their efforts.
Well, Brett, overall, looking back now on the hunting season, and this weekend will be the last weekend except for some special cow elk hunts, how did the overall hunt seem to look to you?
I think it was pretty slow this year, John. I think 1992 will be remembered for several things. I think the crowded conditions will stick out in most people's minds, and also the lower than expected hunter success this year on the deer, not so much on the elk, but on the deer. I don't think hunters fared nearly as well as they expected or that we expected.
And next year, of course, it's a whole new ball game with the choose your weapon concept that's coming up, where you'll have to choose either bow, muzzle loader, or rifle. What do you think that's going to do?
Well, I think it's going to work in the long run, John, but we're going to have to give it 4 or 5 years. I think in the first year or two, what's going to happen is you're going to see everybody kind of pile into the rifle season. It's more of a sure thing. They want to make sure they get their deer. They're not going to have the opportunity to try 2 or 3 different seasons, and so I think it's going to lock some folks into the sure thing type mentality. But then I think once they see how crowded it is and the quality of the hunt, they're going to begin to spread out. We're going to have people taking more time and becoming more proficient with their archery and their muzzleloader equipment, and that's what we really want. We want a quality experience. We want the crowds to be thinned out and even throughout the hunts, and just give people a much better quality experience on the mountain.
And I think probably at least the first few years, the archers are going to have the best hunt, the archers who are really good at it, because that's probably going to be the less crowded one. I would guess if they're going to go to primitive weapon, most of them will go to muzzleloader hunts.
I think so. I think the first year or two, the archers are going to really have a good quality hunting experience. They're going to be the fewest in number, I think. In talking to a lot of folks in Moab, I notice everybody's kind of investing in a muzzleloader. Mm-hmm. Muzzleloader sales are way up, and I think that seasons have become more and more popular as time goes on. But so let's give it some time. Let's give it 4 or 5 years, and I think it's going to work.
Well, that's going to be it for this week. Next week, Brett and I want to talk about what the elections have done to Proposition 200 in Arizona and the spring bear hunt in Colorado, and what the future might be here in Utah. So until then, we'll be seeing you in the outdoors.
And that's the news of Moab and Canyon Country. I'm Jim Kelly, reminding you to keep on smiling.